And then you had the emergence of Philly as well with Schoolie D, who's the OG gangster
Parkside Killers,
Parkside
Killers,
PSK.
PSK.
You name three of them off the bat. Do you know what I mean? But I loved Code Money as well. Schoolie's DJ. Do you know what I mean? Yo, he was ill on the cut. And then of course DJ Too Tough from Tough Crew, right? Sick on the cut, right? And then DJ Supreme from Hijack. And I think they were the two that did this fanzine called Concrete Funk.
General George, you know, 4-star General. You know, that little shop down in Carnaby Street.
That was a jacket, right? Right. The only other person I've seen with that jacket is a guy called Jeremy Howlett when I went to see him. It got the leather flight jacket, and it's got the flight script embroidered on the back. The whole thing's leather.
Really? To be fair, I guess London Posse, because Bionic is kind of a cousin through a cousin.
Oh, really?
So when you're talking about graffiti, Dreff's my cousin.
Certain graffiti artists, taggers, or crews that you used to love.
The number one crew for me growing up and the aspiration was the Chrome Angels.
Kish, Kish, I'm going to have to get out the cab. I mean,
come on, you just got everyone in there. Revolt, Zephyr,
Futura,
you know, Lee. I mean, you know, Satura. I mean, it's just
too many,
you know, it's just ridiculous. What it came down to is like when you're in prison, you can't have the laces in your shoes. So the original term, right, for footwear of a sporting variety is sneaker.
Don't worry, we're going to go Dapper Dan in a minute.
Rakim, Eric B and Rakim, they're rocking Dapper Dan tracksuits.
You've got a signed pair of Cement 4s for Spike Lee.
What? You met Spike Lee?
Yeah, I've got a signed pair.
You met Spike Lee?
The biggest clientele outside of the colleges were the streets and the rappers, because they wanted to feel like they were part of the varsity, the league, and the ballers. That's where the term ballers come from. They want to be part of the ballers. Yeah, so I mean, in the 90s, and Averex was possibly the biggest leather jacket company in the world. USA, but it's got Paris at the back. Very limited. Only eight in the world of this. In London, a lot of people are getting stabbed for their jackets, unfortunately. You know, because it's so expensive. Yeah. But in the US, people used to get shot and killed for their jackets.
That was just by Tottenham Court Road. That's right. And Mash was further down. Then Mash got it. And then they opened up the craziest store ever, right? Because they had a World War II
We are ready to rock and roll. So lights, camera, action. On this week's show, I have two connoisseurs and specialists and fashion addicts who rock some of the freshest fly garms you will ever witness. They have both grown up on the culture of hip-hop, and as you know, fashion being one of the main elements. This cab chat will be focused on hip-hop fashion, as well as getting a slice of knowledge and history on a few of the brands. I'm excited to say we have two of the baddest dressers, the masters of styles for miles. We have KISH KASH and Franklin, King of Trainers, in the back of the world-class, mother-funking, iconic Ultra Cab. Yes.
Wow, Steve, that's some intro, mate.
That's crazy.
Come on.
All I can say is it's a real blessing and an honour to have you both in the cab. I know we was going to do this with King of the Trainers, with Franklin and Reggie, and I thought, no man, let's bring Kish in as well, because you both live and breathe, you know, hip hop and fashion.
Indeed.
You know, you're serious dudes. I mean, you're ones I look at on Instagram and follow you, and it's amazing. You know, your attention to detail as well.
No,
so I really cannot wait to talk about the fashion, a little bit of slice of your history, and it's going to be one wicked interview. And anyone watching this, please leave comments, you know, about, you know, the fashion thing or any questions and that. And Kish, Franklin, or myself will get back to you. But I'll tell you what, let's kick it straight off. First question always asked. Let's go Kish first. You know, whereabouts are you from, and what, you know, and how did you get into like the hip hop culture?
Yeah, I'm from Aylesbury, outside of London, 40 miles northwest, a small market town. Grew up there. Yeah, hip hop since day one. There was a big scene of hip hop, still is, in the town. And it's a town that's bred two prominent artists, shall we say. One being Silver Bullet.
I was going to say Silver Bullet. Yeah, he's at neck of the woods, isn't it?
So Silver Bullet lived in Leighton Buzzard up the road in Bedfordshire, but he was always hanging out in Aylesbury. And he was part of a crew called Triple Element, which had two of my friends in it. And they were signed to Tam Tam originally, which I think went through CBS at the time. And then they went their separate ways, and Bullet went for self, DJ Mo. And then when you look at the No Limit posse surrounding everyone, when you see that classic photo that Normski took, word to Normski, outside the Lloyd's, outside the Lloyd's building, which really does capture the essence of that late 80s, early 90s UK hip-hop flex in terms of style and attitude.
100%.
That featured all my bros. Two of them have passed away, sadly. So rest in peace to Rowan Johnson, and rest in peace to MC Conrad, who passed away last year. And for those who know, MC Conrad was the partner of LTJ Bookham, very predominant and very influential and huge in the drum and bass scene in the 90s. I mean, anything Logical Progression was the apex of drum and bass. And I remember, you know, Connie invited me to just everything, you know, from Speed to all the, you know, to all the other nights, and I was in the drum and bass arena, as it were, through his lens, which I do appreciate. But he was an MC as well, and I think he was in Triple Element with Bullet. But they did their thing, and you know.
I mean, Bullet, you know, Silver Bullet, man. You know, he come out with some big classics. I know. That's right. You know,
Bring forth the guillotine. 21 seconds to comply.
I interviewed MC Search from Third Base, and he was telling me how, you know, that 20 seconds to comply blew him away. You know, with the RoboCop sample at the beginning. That's one bad boy tune, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Silver Bullet had that speed as well.
That's right.
Hijack and all them guys as well, that speed element to it.
Very true. Very, very true. So I've got to shout out Luggy and Les Alert as well. I think they were involved in the production of that classic, those classics. But then I should have bought Les Alert's. He was going to send me his 808. I was around his bedroom studio and he was giving up music, and he said, do you want to buy my 808 off me? I had no interest in making music at that time, or understanding, you know, what was going to be, you know, what was going to happen. Those 808s are now worth how much money? Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. So he had a perfect condition one. So anyway, I digress. Also, so Conrad, right, then went into a group called the Academy, and the Academy had DJ Fade, now and then became DJ Messiah, and then became Prez P. Okay, that's my Mark Priest. And one Robbie Lasker, who then went on to be the principal, right, which is the producer in Caveman. Now, Fade, so Fade, aka DJ Messiah, you know, and Robbie were, you know, they were the two original members of Caveman with MCM. But then when it came to signing to Profile Records, being the first UK hip-hop group to sign to a major at the time, home of Run DMC, Special Ed, etc., as you know, Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock, he decided to leave the group because he wasn't going to be signed. It's just going to be the MC and the producer, which is a bit. I think when you look it back, I think that was probably kind of prevalent. So when you look at Run DMC, was Jam Master Jay was part of the group, but was Jam Master Jay signed to Profile? I don't know, but maybe that was the case. So anyway, he left, and then Diamond J came in, who was MCM's mate from High Wycombe. So then it was like 2/3 Wycombe and 1/3 Aylesbury. But you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, Robbie was the foundation of that. Way ahead of his time in terms of. I used to go beat digging with him. You know, I was there in the bedroom studio. I've actually got his sampler, so he made everything on the Akai S900, which he souped up to being like a 950. So I've actually got that drum machine somewhere in my thing.
That's
you know what I mean? Yeah, that sampler, it's there. So
history.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got that bit of history. I haven't got the 808 that Les made the drums for Bullet, but I got one bit, so that's kind of cool. So that's Aylesbury, and that's where I'm from, and you know, we were way ahead. We were going up the line, you know, from Aylesbury into London on the early, going to all the jams, Westwood, Giles Peterson, you name it, we were there, you know, late 80s, early 90s, beat digging, hunting for kicks, you know, the whole stuff, going to the stores, having secret shops, because there was a lot of gatekeeping going back there. It was very, very competitive. It's like, you know, Franklin and Test. It's like, I remember going to Wood Green, right? Wood Green in like 89, you know, people go to Wood Green from Aylesbury in 89, it weren't kind of the thing, but, you know, I was doing it. There was a place called Mr. USA up there, and they had the hats like this.
When was this, early 90s?
Late 80s, early 90s.
Missy was saying,
Going to Chippy on Floral Street and down
Chippy,
Kings
man.
Road.
Don't get me started. With the patches.
That's right. Going to Swank. Swank was on Old Compton Street, the corner of Old Compton Street. Going to MASH. Got to shout out Karim and the crew from MASH, because they were way ahead of the game there. The first record store, no, the first clothing store to have a record store inside it in the basement, which I later found out is like Jumping Jack Frost and other brethren who were doing that, which is kind of wild. But they were on the hip hop tip back then, on the rave tip, you know what I mean, when it was like, you know, because jungle hadn't even happened then. Do you know what I mean? Jungle was, you know, a little bit further down the line, and then, you know, drum and bass, but came off the hardcore scene, which was also influenced by the sounds of Silver Bullet, Hijack, and Demon Boys, and all that kind of
The
thing.
speed
So you know,
style
that's
behind
right.
it, yeah.
Yeah,
I can't wait
exactly.
to chat about all that, you know, Kish and where you was getting them garments from.
Yeah.
But Franklin as well,
Yes.
like king of the trainers, man. Like, where are you from? Are you from the north side?
Yeah, I'm from Tottenham, man.
You're Tottenham?
Yeah, Tottenham.
What, near Broadwater?
Yeah, West Green Road. Yeah, it's not too far. It's
Yeah.
2 roads. Well, 2 long roads away.
Phillip Lane and all that, I know well.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, I grew up in Tottenham. Tottenham's Tottenham, man. It was notorious because obviously the Broadwater Farm riots, etc. And growing up, you know, it was.
You growing up in that era as well?
Yeah,
Franklin?
yeah. I was there. I was in the era.
You don't look old enough, man.
He's a younger.
Not that much younger.
Yeah, I remember the riots in Tottenham, and you know, and I'll tell you what, there was some amazing hip hop acts up there. Obviously, one of my favourite was Demon Boys.
Absolutely.
You know, especially when normalcy you got that shot of them on the Broadwater
crazy.
Farm.
That's right. That's
Wow,
right. That's right.
wicked! And he's got the RS.
Yeah, crazy.
And he's got the RS Cosworth car in the shot.
Yeah.
That's an
exactly,
amazing
that's right,
photo.
Yeah, that's a boss flex. Yeah,
And was you growing up like on reggae as well, the reggae sound?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess back in those days it was like bashment. Like they really kind of is the bashment sound and things like that. So yeah. I mean, I've got all the old kind of albums, you know, Shabba Ranks, all that. And Shabba Ranks actually came to Wood Green. He came to Wood Green one time when we were in school. There was a radio station called WNK. WNK was like the North London Choice FM back in the day, and they had at the top of Wood Green, next to Wood Green Station, they had their studio. And I remember like all the school kids said, "Oh, Shabba Ranks is coming to WNK," and he came in like some sort of limousine. And there were so many school kids like around that they're rocking a limousine. He was that popular.
Wow.
It kind of the whole road. It locked off. The police had to come. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, all those things stuff happened back in the day. Yeah.
But it was such a you know great thing that this hip hop bug, you know, it affected us all. I mean, obviously, I'm first generation hip hop. I was into hip hop before it was even called hip hop in the UK. It was rap music, and electro funk.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from that. You know, like
it wasn't termed hip hop until '82. You know, that's when hip hop became termed hip hop.
And possibly even later than that. You know, I mean, I'm on about the UK. You know, I mean.
Oh no, I mean, I'm like, I remember, you know, show me age here. It was like,
are you like what are? If you don't mind me asking, are you early 50s, late 40s?
Yeah.
So you're a few years younger than me.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 56.
No way.
Yeah.
Mad. Do you know what I mean? That's why I don't look it, mate. You know what I mean? You and Steve, you're looking all right, son. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So no, I remember wroting the term hip hop in '82 when I was doing a bit of graph on the paper.
So you wrote hip hop?
No, I wrote the term hip hop. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's why.
Because it was tracks, you know, like hip hop, bebop, and you know, all that coming out.
That's right. But I remember coming across something in middle school, and I think we were all exposed to the Michael Holman tapes and all that kind of stuff. But you know how things used to percolate through. But before that, it was like that was beatboxing, that was rapping, that was DJing, that was graffiti. You know, that was it. It was like those, you know, the elements, etc. in play. And then the cohesive term hip hop coming in around '82.
And was you getting into that like electro?
We were there from day one.
What electro tracks was you loving? I mean, like me, like the Planet Rock,
exactly. That's
Looking
right,
for Perfect Beat, all the classics.
Nucleus, Jam and Revenge, all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? The stuff that was really
Egyptian
really
Lover.
Yeah, but also you got to credit Herbie Hancock as well, Rocket, and then a little bit later.
Don't get me started. You're getting me started. He's bringing Rocket out.
Yeah, then you also had things like Paul Hardcastle. Thomas Dolby, all these things in the mix as well. Freeze, EIOU, you know what I mean? All those sort of things. Shannon let the music play. They had this old electro funk sort of soul style thing going on as well, which Shannon was a part of, and the hard beats of that. But it was a crazy time, and then afterwards, you know, you also had the emergence of Chris the Glove Taylor and Ice-T.
Tibetan Jam. And Reckless.
And Reckless.
I've seen DJs, too many to name. Some game recognition and even fame. But when you talk Ice-T is the best, he's reckless.
Exactly. Grandmaster Flash, Nelly Mel, you know, all these things in the mix. Curtis Blow.
Cool Mo
D, Treacherous 3, of course.
Mixer DST.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, a little bit after, but that's right. Yeah. exactly. And all that sort of stuff.
incredible.
DJ Cheese, you know, word of mouth, all these sort of jams, right? Boom, 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 coming through. And then you had the emergence of Philly as well with Schoolie D, who's the OG gangster
Parkside
rapper.
Killers.
Parkside
PSK.
Killers, exactly. You know, all those things. And then afterwards, boom, 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 Eric B. and Rakim and blah, blah, blah. But of course, prior to that was the emergence of Run DMC, arguably the greatest hip-hop group of all time, still to this day, who changed the foundation
We
of
can't
everything.
forget LL.
And then LL came out straight
LL.
after that.
That's kind of my era.
Yeah. Okay, now we're getting like that, and, you know, like that, and EPMD and all the others that came, and Kane and everyone who came after, and all this kind of stuff. So
Rakim and
Eric B. and Rakim, 100%. You know what I mean? So Marley Marl being the original hip hop super producer back then as well. You know,
We got to
everything he
Marley
did touch-
Marl and
everything he touched
Mantronics
touched
and
gold, exactly.
Cool
BDP.
C.
Boogie Down Productions, you know, and then of course Public Enemy.
Oh yeah, well I'm going to talk about that in a minute.
Okay, cool.
Let's hang fire a sec.
Yeah.
Right, so in terms of dabbling with the elements, like you done a little bit of graph back in the day, Kish.
I never sprayed. I had hand style and I wrote and I draw on the thing on the paper, but never hit trains or walls. Yeah.
and did you ever go up breaking, pop in?
Breaking? Yeah, I look like I'd broken myself the way I broke. You know what I mean, like that. I did pop in and lock in and all that sort of style, and the robotics and all that kind of
No,
stuff.
about the
That was the
DJing.
thing. Excuse me.
The DJing? Was you on the decks back then?
No,
Right.
I wasn't. That's way later. I was
They come
buying
later.
records. I was buying records on the early, but the DJing thing didn't really kick in until the late 90s.
How about you, Franklin? Was you representing any elements of hip hop? Did you ever go MCing or
no,
beatboxing?
you know what?
or...
More collecting.
you was a collector?
Yeah, more collecting. Like, I think my first single, well, it's like a single I bought was Gold Cut Create a Goal, which on the B side had that's L Cool J's single. So Gold Cut Create Goal was the main single, and the B side was I Need Love.
That's right.
Yeah, and then I Need Love got played on the radio so much that became the single. So yeah, that's probably what.
That was the one that nearly torpedoed his career. He was way.
Yeah, because I remember at
Yeah.
Hammersmith he dropped
He
that,
got-
and
he
he
got
did get booed for that at
got-
the time. I don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
people
yeah.
kind of got
They
it
got
at the
it, they didn't
time.
get it, yeah.
But it was quite looking back on it now, it was quite like a futuristic type.
Well,
track.
without that happening, there's no Drake.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know, without that, there's no
Yes.
Bun Thugs
That's
and
a
Harmony.
good-
There's no melodies in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it had
He
that
brought
bass,
to
that
the
bass
table.
line,
Yeah.
is that I Need Love, that bass. isn't it?
Yeah.
Looking back on it now, it was like, because I was serious hip hop head, you know, I was into hardcore,
Yeah.
you know, Bronx hip hop.
Yeah.
But you know, when that first come out, I must admit, I didn't kind of dig it. But later on, I appreciated it more for what it was.
Yeah. No, he definitely a pioneer. Yeah. So more for me, more was collecting. So records, I've got loads because my dad, he has a big collection and he kind of passed it down, and he has so eclectic music tastes, Pink Floyd and. Even down to Cilla Black, he got Cilla Black albums. Like that's how much of a music bad he was.
No, he's eclectic.
Yeah. So collecting heavily, and a lot of R&B as well. If I'm honest, a lot of R&B back then as well. Yeah.
And the one of the first elements of hip hop, as you know, was obviously the DJing, and you had incredible DJs from from New York, like your WizKid, Grand Mixer DST, Jazzy J.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously your Cash Moneys, Jazzy Jeff. I mean, we can list them off and off and off. You must have had some special DJs that you used to love listening to. You know,
Oh, I mean,
there must have been so many.
You've named 3 of them off the bat, do you know what I mean? But I loved Code Money as well, Schoolie's DJ, do you know what I mean? He was ill on the cut. And then, of course, DJ Too Tough from Tough Crew, right? Sick
Beast.
on the cut, right?
Beast.
And then DJ Supreme from Hijack,
Well, I was going to say about the
Yeah.
UK guys,
Yeah.
Supreme and Undercover,
right?
and
Ridiculous.
Pogo and Swifty.
Yeah, Pogo, Swifty, all them crew, do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Serious DJs.
Seriously next level. Chad Jackson as well was nice on the cut back in the day, you know? He won DMC, didn't he? So,
You know,
the thing
DJ
is-
Supreme, his technique on the with his scratching technique
Yeah, it was
was
nuts.
like one of the
It
masters.
influenced Cuba and people like that. They were scratching their heads going, no pun intended, like going, what the hell's he doing? You know, they're like going, hey, what's all this about, you know? And it's still remarkable to this day how advanced he was and is, you know, and is considered, and quite rightly so. But then, you know, you had people like DJ Richie Rich from Third Base, now later Daddy Rich. You had DJ Scratch. You had DJ Miz. I mean, Philly was producing some of the craziest DJs because it had Cash Money, it had Jazzy Jeff, it had Too Tough, and it had DJ Miz, and it's just like, what's going on? DJ Aladdin, right? Come on,
don't,
right?
Kish, don't.
You know,
I'm getting excited in the front here. I might have to get out the cab.
DJ Aladdin from Low Profile, and we know Low Profile. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, wow, it's just that whole LA thing going on, and it's like phenomenal. Seriously, the guy was next level. And then you also had the emergence of, you know, other DJs off the back of that, another generation after that. But you're looking at the creme de la creme there. You had the Supermen, you know, and then you had the X-Men, right? And they were battling hard at a New Music Seminar in America. And you had obviously Rock Raider, rest in peace, you know, Mr. Sinister, Rob Swift, you know, it was, you know, that these guys are just, you know, on a next level flex. And yeah, you just look at that and you're just thinking, wow. And I think, was it Total Eclipse? That was another DJ from the X-Men, and Stevie D, all these people, right? And then Clark Kent was the guy, rest in peace, who brought all that together. Very instrumental from an early years back within the hip hop scene, and that's how we knew the name Clark Kent. It wasn't through sneakers, it was through him being a bad boy producer and DJ. And they say God's favorite DJ, and it's hard to argue against that. But what he gave to the culture is still reverberating to this day. But yeah, what an absolute legend. Do you know what I mean? So there you got those
you
guys.
Really, Kish, I must admit, I'm sitting here actually listening to you. You really know your onions.
Yeah,
I'm pretty impressed with this.
I'm a hip hop head, Steve.
You are
man,
like,
you know what I mean?
you're 100. You both are 100% hip hop. It's like, wow.
This is it. Still to this day.
Like the knowledge.
Yeah.
The knowledge
you know,
is king.
I mean, you know,
Wow.
but you know, the thing is, it's like, you know, from Aylesbury, we had this sort of lens on things, and we just went in deep. I mean, one of the guys that I grew up with was a guy called Brian Garvey, and another one who I didn't know at the time was Cy Specs of the Creators, because he was going to university in High Wycombe.
Wow.
And I think they were the two that did this fanzine called Concrete Funk. Now, it's a little square, you know, rectangular thing like that was printed black and white. And this is pre-Big Daddy, this is pre-Wax Poetic, this is pre all of this sort of stuff. And it went into breaks culture and hip-hop, etc. And they were listing breaks and things like that, like Skull Snaps, etc. before Showbiz and Diamond D and that sampled this stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I think Robbie actually sampled Skull Snaps, maybe it might have been the first two. I can't remember, don't quote me on that. But we were early on a lot of things. We were going in deep. Had plugs everywhere. You know, Robbie and Mark, who was the original DJ and Caveman, were beat digging from early, and they were leaving no stone unturned. And that's who I got to give props to. You know, pulled me into that realm. So you know, we were pulling out breaks before people were going in deep over here. And yeah, when we look at the Principles production, etc., and how it influenced everyone else, it's like it had a big impact on everyone. Like DJ Sire from Gutter Snipes owes it to Principle. You know, Napper, who was up the road in Luton, he owes it to him. Do you know what I mean? All these producers afterwards that came through, that was a level set. I mean, the thing is, it's a shame that Robbie gave up music, that Principal gave up music, because he was going to work with Jim. He was going to a New Music Seminar, he was coming back with sneakers, right? This is the thing. I remember Robbie being the first guy to have a pair of black cement Air Jordan 3s in this country. Wow. He went to New Music Seminar in '88, came back and he had them, and he was snapping necks when we were walking around Carnaby Street when we were going on beat digging missions and stuff. It was just absolutely wild. I had the medicine balls on at the time, but yeah, the 3s on, and we love the medicine balls, of course, you know, to do the right thing. It's what Spike Lee's wearing, etc. But the shoe, that was, yeah. And the only way you could get a pair of the Air Jordan 3 black cements was when George at 4-Star General was on Carnaby Street.
Well, I was going to bring George up, General George, man.
Right, yeah. And he had a pair for sale that he had brought over from America, 250 quid. 250 quid, right, in like 1988, 89. It's like, that's absurd. That's £1,000 now or something. That was the early resale when stores used to go over to America with an empty suitcase and come back. Utopia used to do it in Camden, and there was a shop called World that was just off off Charing Cross Road.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They were doing the same.
Passenger,
sort of thing.
one called Passenger.
Passenger as
My mate's
well.
worked in Passenger,
that's right. Yeah, used to go in there. They used to go in and go to America and come back with things as well.
But we, you know, General George, you know, 4-Star General, you know, that little shop down in Carnaby Street, it was tiny, but the garms he had in there, not just the garms, it was the whole package. You'd get name belts, Kangols, goose jackets, red, I mean cream and black and green. You know, and the graffiti t-shirts, the shop was electric. That
It was
was
electric.
like name. Remember the name rings as well. The
That's right.
rings.
Exactly.
Did you go there as well, Franklin?
Well, yeah. George, when George was in what?
Camden, he moved to
yeah,
Camden.
When he moved to Camden,
yeah.
that's when I knew him.
Yeah, we got to find George. I don't know where he is, what he's doing. He's still probably sitting on a lot of that stuff.
Ah, must be.
Well, I've got people out there looking for George because I need to get George in the cab. We need to
Yeah,
have
no,
a chat.
exactly. And if you do, Steve, please let me know.
No, definitely.
Great guy, always on time for me.
Yeah, George,
And the thing is that I was in Berlin once and I met this dude. He goes, yeah, he knew George, and he's still about. And he was telling me, oh yeah. And I was saying, well, you know, get word to him, but you know, it's one of those sort of things.
I remember George rocking the Kango like the way we used to. Because there was different styles you could wear the Kango. You could use it as a normal kind of bucket style hat.
Yeah.
But another way, there's about 4 or 5 different ways you could roll the brim up. But I used to roll the brim up and then tuck the little bin at the top, so it looked like a pork pie hat. That was General George look, man. He was like legendary.
Legend. I mean, the things he's done for the culture within this country, he's probably one of the most important ambassadors for the culture ever. But
if anyone's watching this and they know where George is, me and Kish need to get hold of General George.
We need to get hold of General George. Yeah, exactly. But
Franklin.
He had the V panel double gooses. He had the Stussy tribe stuff. He had a splattering of key stuff. Do you know what I mean? He was early, and then a little bit after that, off the tail end of him is Mash, of course, and what Mash had on Oxford Street, setting trends, basically dressing the entire rave culture as well as the hip hop scene at the time. You know, whatever they had was the good to go. I mean, a little bit later on, I remember that was the first place you get Tommy Hilfiger, and you know, Mad custom wallabies.
Did you ever go to Mad Hype in Kensington? Mad Hype. When they used to have the ray gun, they were the first people to have ray gun.
Yeah. Well, I remember in Kensington High Street, Kenny,
Hyper.
Yeah. But also there was a shop called Slick Willie's, and Slick Willie's was the only other place apart from Mr. USA where you could get fitted hats and all that American basketball, American football, American basketball stuff. American basketball, American football, basketball stuff, ice hockey stuff, and the college stuff and baseball stuff. So and then Passenger and other places came on a little bit after that. You know, riding that wave, as it were. Yeah,
Mr. USA. I remember I've still got my starter jacket I bought there.
What starter jacket you got?
I used to have
a Giants one.
No, it was actually a name starter, so it had starter written across the front and in blue and red arms. I bought it there in like Jesus Christ, 93, I think. I have to bring it out.
Right.
Yeah, them starter jackets.
I had the Bulls one,
the Celtic,
and then I had another Bulls one.
The green Celtic or the white Celtic.
Yeah, that's white.
Remember the green or the
ultramagnetic? Yeah, but we couldn't wear Celtics, man. I don't know what they all wear that way. I think they just like the colours, man. I didn't care. But I had the Georgetown one that Ed Lover. I think it's Ed Lover or Dr. Dre in Original Concept was wearing on the cover. Right, I've got that same one. I still got it. That's still in the
pullover one.
No, the popper, the satin jacket.
Okay.
But I had the zip up Bulls one, but I gave that to Rowan, rest in peace, and I shouldn't have done that. But that's the kind of style that Fife is wearing, the Charlotte Hornets one.
The Hornets was that's what famous the Hornets.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? So that was wild. But the Bulls at that. I still got the Georgetown baseball shirts. The starter ones, I got those in the States. You couldn't get them here.
Have you still got some of that? Have you, Franklin? You still got?
You're
both hoarders like me, aren't you? You're hoarders.
We're not hoarders. We're archivists.
Yeah, you know what? I prefer that.
Hoarding is an indiscriminate. Because hoarding is an indiscriminate accumulation of stuff. It has no meaning.
Collectors.
It's just amassing, right? But archiving is as a discerning eye. Right, and then it's like these things have a meaning, these have a resonance. This is this, and this is this. I still got my leather Nike Air Flight jacket. That was a jacket, right? Right. The only other person I've seen with that jacket is a guy called Jeremy Howlett. When I went to see him, OG collector guy, shout out Jeremy Howlett. I got the leather flight jacket, and it's got the flight script embroidered on the back. The whole thing's leather.
Really?
I still got that.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And when I was walking around London with it, people go, "What? Where did you get that jacket? What's going on?" on and all this kind of stuff. They were like
That's
perplexed.
incredible.
I was walking around that with the black Jordan 4s, right? I was the first guy to have black Jordan 4s in this country in '89, because I went to the States, came back doing the old, got to see my family in Houston, and then coming back with all these things that you couldn't get here at the time. They didn't come out for another 6 months, I think. I mean, which is wild. So it was a time. But yeah, sorry, Steve, you were saying.
I was going to say another massive, huge collector is Cash Money. When I interviewed DJ Cash Money, he's got like some unbelievable collections.
That's crazy.
Philly was deep with the stuff. They had crazy things and things available. I've never been to Philly. It's always been on the list.
Yeah.
But they had this shop that I think it was Junior's. I can't remember. Hold on. I'll tell you what. I've got a photo of it in my phone because Brendan sent it to me. Right.
Quickly find that.
Joseph's. Right, this is Joseph's.
Can you hold that up to the?
So this is a legendary store in Philly, but during lockdown and after what happened to George Floyd and the riots, sadly Joseph's got ransacked, and it was
but that was like one of the legendary shops.
Yeah, and it's one of those stories that sadly we have littered far too often throughout history, where the neighbourhood that has given so much gets destroyed by the people themselves in frustration, and it's understandable, but it's really, really sad when you see that happening. You see, so that's what that comes down to. So, but anyway, we digress. Let's go on to positive vibes.
Yeah, no, 100%. Let's get on this one, right, Franklin. Let's go over to you. I mean, there were some incredible, like UK MCs. I mean. Got Demon Boys and Blade and London Posse, and I mean we can reel them off. Hijack. Was there some MCs or a crew that you was loving from the UK that were kind of standing out?
Look, to be fair, I guess London Posse, because Bionic is kind of a cousin through a cousin.
Oh really?
So when you're talking about Graffiti, Dreff's my cousin.
What?
Dreff, yeah.
Dreff's your cousin?
Yeah, Dreff.
Wow.
You didn't know that, did you?
No.
Yeah, Dreff's my cousin. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and Dreff is Bionic's cousin and stuff. Yeah. So in the House Life in London, Dreff's in the video and stuff, and I remember we were like, you're in the video. It was such a big thing.
It was a big thing. They've got to shout out Rodney P and Bionic.
Big shout out to all the London Posse. Business and all of them.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
they came out of the gate in what, 87?
Yeah,
right, with London Posse.
Yeah.
So on Justice, which was Westwood's label, which is interesting. I mean, this is the thing, right? Westwood, obviously there's a lot of allegations, and it's really, really awful. So however that plays out, I hope justice is served. But the thing is, I remember people dissing Westwood for not doing anything for the culture, but he put out London Posse in '87. That just said that said it all. He was playing UK rap.
Was you tuned into LWR when he had his?
We couldn't get it. We couldn't get it in Aylesbury.
Yeah. I do remember he had was the.
But we could get the tapes.
We could get the tapes.
We could get the tapes. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But, he was putting on some early jams as well, around kind of 83, 84. And he was heavily involved with putting on.
He was. He loves the culture and everything, and so if he's done some bad mind things, then he obviously has to serve that out. But that's unquestionable. But the thing is, you always got to temper it with, it's like, you separate the art from the guy and all this kind of stuff. It's, music history, not just music history, but history itself is littered with people who've done so much, and yet they've done some abhorrent things at the same time. So you've got this conflict going on. But we can only look, as we're talking about the music, he has, and it's irrefutable, he has done things for the culture within this country. Okay, all the other things that he is accused of, we hope that the right thing happens in that regard. But it's really hard to sort of differentiate from that. But I mean, those groups, man.
So that's for me.
Rose Franklin. I mean, apart from London Posse, it must have been like about Demon Boys, because obviously they're from the north side.
So Demon Boys, because what it is, I don't mind saying my age. I'm going to be 46. So it was a bit later for me.
So what was you going into, that Skinny Man task?
Skinny Man.
I mean, them guys.
You'll be Black Twang.
Skinny Man.
You'll be Black Twang Roots Maneuver before Skinny.
Black Twang.
And Brotherhood.
Brotherhood, yes. Yeah, Brotherhood. I'm trying to think. I mean, because what it is, in Tottenham, we had a lot of local people as well, like, who were just MC. So we came up in like the early Clash era. So we had people like Poison Crew. Then we had like it was kind of, and then we had like a place called Flower Pot, which was like an old Irish pub, and then all the crews will get kind of they'll link up, and then they'll have like clashes there and stuff. So it's
The
so
flower
it's
pot.
Yeah, the flower pot. Yeah. It's all like it's turned into a housing development, and they kept the name called Flower Pot Close. So it kind of
You know, we got so much talent stepping out of the UK from north, south, east and west, not just London, all the way up to like, you know, Scotland, Ireland and, you know, all the way down, all over the place. So one thing, you know, we caught that hip hop bug early doors, and it's something that the UK done as well. We put our stamp on it as well. You know, we was like rocking that hip hop thing. It didn't matter if we used like MC, turntablist, graffiti writer, you know, we was like full steam ahead, innit? There was like no left turns, no right turns. We was just going for it.
That's it.
We was going for it. In terms of, let's go to the graffiti, because I love talking about graffiti. Obviously, graffiti probably being the first element of hip hop. You know, before hip hop was there, you know, graph was going on in the 60s and before then. But I mean, was there certain graffiti artists, taggers, or crews that you used to love? I mean, there was so many, like London Giants, Non-Stop. I mean,
I mean,
Arts.
the number one crew for me growing up, and the aspiration was the Chrome Angels.
Oh, Kish, I'm gonna have to get out the cab. I'm gonna have to get out the cab now because I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited.
Zachy D lives 1 mile over that way. There's about a 10-minute walk that way. Zachy,
I mean, the Chrome Angels, man.
Respect to Bando, respect to Mode. I mean, respect to Pride. I mean, the thing is, those guys, what they did,
Scribbler.
levels, you know, Scribbler, exactly. I mean, the thing is, it's just like they're just next level. Another name that I used to see on the line. Going from, you used to see him coming, you know, Aylesbury to into Marylebone. It's the Metropolitan line. It turns into the Metropolitan line. Seeing the names up there, you know, you had Diet,
Rio,
you had Coma, you had Snatch. You know, you had all these peeps up on the line. It was like, whoa. And they're the ones who
after that, right? 10 foot he came way after.
10 foot was way after. 10 foot's brand new in comparison. I mean, you know, and they're the crew that inspired everyone, you know, all over the shop, but in primarily even DDS. Do you know what I mean? Later on. So shout outs to Teach and, you know, Drax, man. Drax.
WD, World Domination.
World Domination crew.
Yeah, Skip and PFD.
Yes, exactly. So, you know, there's a lot of incredible writers. Nylon. There was a lot. Trying to remember all the names that I see, but that's the thing that needs to be documented as well. In the same way that you know, Spray Can Art and Subway Art and Spray Can Art did. Shout outs to Martha Cooper and Henry Chalfont. But they really set the levels. I mean, those are the two Bibles growing up, you know, hand in hand.
Don't even get me started.
Old Testament,
please.
New Testament, you know, however you want to play, and everyone trying to replicate what they're seeing in there because that's what they had to go on, or trying to steal, exactly, or trying to steal frame a Michael Holman video. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever you see, or any sort of, you know, American movie that has a little bit graffiti in the background. You know, that's what was at play then when the guys were going real deep on that and the styles involved.
But Subway Art was definitely, without a doubt, when they come out in 1984, I think that was the most wrapped book in history. You know, I mean, I got it at the library, I was cutting out the photographs and sending it back. You know, like some mad stuff.
I'm trying to find a first print of that because the thing is, everyone used to cut them up.
Yeah, I've got a first print of it.
Really?
Yeah, I've got a first print of it.
I need to
but I did not cut them because I bought that. I did not cut the pictures out of that one.
I need you to find me a first print of both of those books. I need that for the vault, right? For what
I've got
a
first print of that, and I've got a first print of Spray Can Art as well.
I need a first print of both of them.
Was there any pieces that stood out, or any artists that stood out from Subway Art? I mean,
come on, you just put everyone in there. Revolt, Zephyr,
Futura,
you know, Lee. I mean, you know, Satura. I mean, it's just
too
like,
many,
you know, it's just ridiculous. It's just like mad, you know. Did I say Zephyr? I can't remember, but you know, it's like all the kings, you know, Chino, Scene. I mean, it's you just can go on and on and on with that book. Every single one of those people in there. Vulcan, Phase 2. I mean, the thing is, it's like it's just the ultimate. It really is, and it's of an era that's just never to be replicated and set the foundation for everything. And to what it's become now, it's phenomenal to see all these people getting represented in such a way. I mean, yeah, it's, who would have thought that it would go to this? I mean, Lady Pink
Lady
Pink just had a show in Destassi Arts the other day, and it was mind blowing. And to see her finally getting her flowers is brilliant. Yeah, you know, it's phenomenal to see that even after all these decades, these people and what they have done still resonates to the fore. It's remarkable. It really
that's
is.
important. I think that's very important. That you have to give flowers, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's yeah.
For the ones that paved the way, without doubt.
Indeed.
Yeah, because without them, we're not here.
Yeah.
You know, show respect.
Something I want to let's get Franklin on as well. Something I want to talk about is Public Enemy.
Okay,
you know, when Public Enemy come out around, it was I think 87, 86, 87. Public Enemy #1 when that album come out.
Prior to that, it was Spectrum City.
Yeah, that's right.
out
They
the
were
radio.
Spectrum City crew. Yeah, but
Because they had the radio show in Long Island.
that's right. Yeah. I've just done an interview with Johnny Juice.
Okay.
Johnny Juice,
Yes.
and he was telling me all about that. Big up to Johnny Juice. But when Public Enemy, you know, when we first heard Public Enemy #1 and Public Enemy were coming out, and they done the Hammersmith Apollo and all that, which was wicked in '87. That was kind of like one of the game-changing groups. I mean, the way they looked as well. You know, dressed all in black with their Ewings on, and you know, I mean that shot from Rebel Without a Pause with the yellow car park shot. How inspirational was that?
Yeah, with the
shot?
Oldsmobile. Yeah.
And they had the goose jackets on, and the what Chuck always wearing the.
Yeah, the
Star,
Raiders,
the Black Star.
He was wearing the Black Star. He was wearing the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right.
The P stood for Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Or he was wearing the Philadelphia Phillies.
But how incredible did they look and did they sound? You know, I mean, production with Bomb Squad and all that. They was like, it was another game-changing group. And the message that Chuck was putting out there, you know, it wasn't gangster rap.
No.
But it was an important message. It was going back to the times of like Melly Mel with, the message.
Yeah.
You know, when Chuck was coming out with all this stuff, you know, you really stood up and paid attention to what he was saying.
Yeah, but I tell you, we got to give the style props to. Prior to that, though, has to be Run DMC. You know, on the cover they got the double gooses, the V-panel double gooses. They're the ones who created a whole movement because
Didn't they do the no lace trainer as well? With
They
the
took the no lace, right? They took the no laces because Jam Master Jay was the style guy in the group, right? And the other two, and Daryl McDaniels and Run followed on from that. Joseph Simmons followed on from that. And what it came down to is like when you're in prison, you can't have the laces in your shoes, right?
Yeah.
So when the D-boys come back out of prison, they're still conditioned in the way that they're walking around without the laces in their shoes.
Yeah.
So they saw that, and obviously it turns out that Jam Master Jay might have been a little bit more street than we gave him credit for.
he was a lot more
really locked in, right, like that. And he was the guy who was like, and that's why they rocked them the shoes without laces and created a whole movement. But the thing is, we got to give credit to Run DMC because they're the guys they're the first music endorsed artists in the world, right? Yeah. So without them, there are no music endorsed, collaborations happening. There are no Missy Elliott Adidas. There are no Kanye. There are no Kanye.
Well, the Adidas collab.
Yeah, there are no. They had their own line. They had Adidas. They had their own line. I've got some of the jackets. Yeah, the Run DMC Adidas.
Was that 85?
No, it came out. I think 87.
Okay.
I think it was 86, 87.
But 85 is when they had the actual concert.
That's when they had the concert. Yeah. But then the
Yeah,
Adidas exec saw it and blah blah blah. And music history changed and marketing history changed.
Indeed.
I see them in '85. You know, Electric Ballroom '85. That's the first time they played in London, 1985.
They came out originally. They first came out in '83, and then boom. They the subsequent album King of Rock, etc. I think was '85. So and then Raising Hell was '88. Was it '88?
87, 86, 87.
88.
Because they done the License to Ill tour as well, didn't they?
That's
Beastie
right.
Boys
Yeah,
at
the
Hammersmith.
Beastie Boys, exactly.
That was in '86.
Wow.
Or was it
That's
'87?
right.
I can't remember.
No, A License to Ill came out in '87.
I think it might have been '87 then.
Yeah. So, but anyway, maybe Raising Hell came out in '86. But anyway,
anyone watching, let us know.
Well, no, we can Google it right now. We can cut it right in. But the thing is, when you look at their style, way ahead, music marketing. Without that, you don't have Drake Nike shoes. You don't have Kanye Nike or Adidas shoes. You don't have Kendrick doing what he's doing. You don't have Clips doing what they're doing. You don't have any of these things happening. 50 Cent Reeboks, Jay-Z Reeboks, all these different flashpoints throughout the years, and these things are still going on. Travis Scott would not exist in terms of Nike marketing if it wasn't for Run DMC doing what they did and the savvy marketing that we associate that entire era of. I mean, it's just remarkable.
And they made a track called My Adidas.
Exactly.
Indeed.
They done a track on a. Actually, that's something I'm going to ask you guys about as well. In terminology, you know, we used to call them trainers back in the day. Now they tell me you got sneakers, pumps, and there's a few like meanings for footwear. Franklin, what do you call the
well, I'm trainers.
You're trainers.
Yeah, I mean, in my blogs and stuff, I do put sneakers here and there because I have a large US following. But I'm trainers. I'm the king of trainers. That's the
king of trainers. You can't have king of sneakers. So the trainers is trainers. Kind of your terminology.
Trainers. Yeah.
And how about you, Kish? What do you use?
Oh, I grew up trainers. So the original term, right, for footwear of a sporting variety is sneakers, because they had the rubber soles. It was an advent of technology, hadn't been done before, and you could sneak up on people. And so that was, I think, done maybe BF Goodrich or Convert. I can't remember who did it, but a guy, an authoritarian on this is a guy called Dr. Thomas Turner. He's actually, he can do a degree. He's done a degree on the history of footwear, written books on.
So it was the rubber sole company. They made plimsolls, and then after that it was Pro-Keds.
Pro-Keds.
So Pro-Keds made the sneaker. Like that's the original, the first one, and that was 1919, I think. But the rubber sole company made the first.
I think it even goes back prior to that into the late 1800s.
It does. But that's the rubber sole company was, I think, 18. So I teach this in my class. 1892, I believe. But don't quote me. I know there's going to be
Dunlop was in the mix as well.
Yeah. So
and BF Goodrich.
Yeah.
Tire companies.
But Pro-Keds was the first to actually coin the sneaker. Then after that, it was Converse, and then Converse obviously got the Chuck Taylors, and then it kind of went from there. Yeah.
What, Franklin, what was the kind of first sneaker? I mean, the first sneaker for me was the Dunlop Green Flash.
For me,
before that was the black school pumps.
So for me, obviously, I've had it all. I've had plimsolls, Mercury. Mercury. Wow. But I think the defining sneaker was either. Before the Reebok workouts, there was a Reebok that looked like workouts. I forgot the name of it, and that was like, I mean, I'm talking like probably 84. Then in 85, when Boris Becker won the championship, my mum tried to find me the Pumas he was wearing. They weren't actually the same ones, but she tried her best. I mean, in the 80s. So that's kind of how the whole nickname came about. Because I've got a picture. I'll post it up. I've got a picture of me in 85, about 85, 86, wearing these Pumas, which he fought with the Boris Becker ones and stuff. So those Pumas for me is like this kind of the real start in sneaker history, and my sneaker history at least. And,
that's where it all kind of
starts
off.
The nickname and things like that. Yeah.
And how about you, Kish? What was your kind of first, serious sneaker?
Serious sneaker. I'm trying to remember. Going on holiday to my family in Canada, to Winnipeg, to see my uncle. He was working at a shop called Eaton's. So prior to that, it'd been plimsolls, Dunlop Green Flash, and then this was the one where I came back with a pair of Nikes. And Nikes, I think, were just starting to get distributed in this country, but only in specialist running shops. They didn't hit other shops until a little bit later. Aylesbury didn't have them yet. You could only buy Adidas or Puma over here. I'm trying to remember because I was mad young. But yeah, it was a pair of, I don't know if I've still got them, but my mum might still have them because she doesn't throw anything away.
That's good.
But I do remember them having a permafoam insoles. That's where we had the Nike in blue repeated all through the pattern. And it had a herringbone outsole. And then the tail, the back of it went up. Right, and then it sort of flared out the thing, so it wasn't quite like, it wasn't an LDV, but it was on that sort of flex, and it had a sort of open toe box like that with the toe panel like that, as opposed to having the middle bit going up. into the I-state, and they were like sort of light brown and brown with a gum sole, with a gum herringbone pattern sole. I haven't got no clue what they are, and the toe went up a little bit at the front as well.
Once again, anyone watching, if they know what it is,
they're
please leave a
a
comment.
bit like the Oceana, but they're not the Oceana, because the Oceana thing has the bit going up the toe. But yeah, but obviously as a kid then, so they might have been kids versions. I don't know, and that, and then after that, it was the Puma G Velas. Oh, and also had a pair of kangaroos back in the back then as well, because they had the pocket.
Kangaroo.
They had the pocket. They had the little zip pocket. Yeah, exactly.
Kangaroos,
so yeah, that was a gimmick. But yeah, I had those as well. So yeah,
I don't remember them, the kangaroo.
You don't remember kangaroos? Yeah.
No. Well, I don't think so. I'll have to look up.
I'll probably do. Oh, them
kangaroos.
Yeah, it was a little gimmicky thing. And the Pumas I had, because everyone started wearing Puma Dallas. Right, and that was the big shoe, big shoe, and that was off the back of Beat Street. And everyone wearing Puma suedes and all that kind of stuff in there. So yes, exactly. So Puma Dallas was a big shoe.
What tennis player wore Puma Dallas?
I don't know.
Yeah, one of the tennis players.
Yeah, they did. That's it. It was a tennis shoe.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But the shoe that I had, and tennis was the big look.
It was Lendl,
right?
Was it Lendl?
Lendl was Adidas though.
Was he Adidas? He was. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. So anyway,
tennis was a massive.
Tennis,
I mean, the Fila and Sergio.
That's for me. Tennis was the.
You got to think casual culture was one of the things that permeated through our style over here, and the way that affected and the lens of what we had and how we co-opted that into the look and what we saw going on in America. And this is why the UK is at that crosshairs and it's interpreted styles in a way that no other place on the planet has, and has actually influenced it as a result. You had also punk culture, you know, and all that here, and the way disco would affect things, all these sort of things, and two-tone culture, which obviously stems from reggae culture, soul boys, the whole thing, the whole cosmopolitan mix was absolutely wild. But yes, but tennis was the worldwide sport at the time. You could watch the finals, especially the Wimbledon final. It was the most watched sporting event at the time outside of the World Cup. Football wasn't televised, right? You had to go to the game. You could get the highlights, match of the day, yes, but you couldn't watch the game. And what everyone wore in the stands was basically what the casuals wore was tennis stuff, right? So
even down to headbands.
Everything.
And tennis bags.
Wristbands, the whole lot. Everything. Right. So that was the big thing. So tennis was massive. The tennis stars were the biggest superstars on the planet at the time, visually. So Bjorn Borg, he couldn't go down the street, you know, without getting mobbed. John McEnroe. Prior to that, Ilan Nastase, Arthur Ashe, and Stan Smith, and all these people.
They're all bigger than Jordan.
All bigger. Jimmy Connors. All bigger. Jordan wasn't even there at that time. Borg retired by the time Jordan came out, right? So the thing is, it's like, you know, you had a pair of Diodora Borg Elites, you was on some next level, especially with that gold flash right along the side of the signature and kangaroo leather, right? It was next level. But the shoes that I had was the Puma G Velas, right? And I wanted to be different, and so pleasing my mum got me the Puma G Velas, because everyone was rocking the Dallas. There was no biting allowed. Gazelles was Adidas Gazelles was another shoe that was big over here as well,
and Kick as well. And Samba.
That
was around 84ish.
Yeah, but not in terms of style. That was more like, you know, to play football in the street kind of vibe. Do you know what I mean? Because you needed trainers to play football in the street. You couldn't be, you know, clunking around in football boots. You know what I mean? You know,
that was Diodora Borg Elite with the gold stripe, made of kangaroo skin. They were like rocking. They were big money back then. Everyone wanted them.
Big money.
And then you'd rock them with a pair of like jumbo cords, and you'd cut the slit and like have the trouser hanging over the top of the trainer. I mean, there was a lot of you know, style and effort made back then, isn't it?
Absolutely.
A lot.
And it still influences people to this day, which is fantastic.
Without a doubt. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a nice question. Let's go over to Franklin, actually. You know, fashion and looking crispy and fly, like, you know, the freshest kid, has always been, you know, part of the hip-hop culture. And there were some incredible looking, you know, MCs out there, you know, from the States looking super fly, your Ultras, your Cormo D's, and, you know, was there any MCs out there and your Slick Ricks that, you know, that you'd love to look at that were kind of thinking, they look popping?
For sure. For me, it was LL.
LL
was a fashion icon, like,
how
you know.
How many Kangos did he run?
Yeah, LL, you know.
And the tracksuits.
Yeah, I loved LL. I just because he had like the big starter, the Cubs starter,
the gold chain.
Yeah, it was
the
L
troop.
the troop.
Ah,
the troops.
don't
He had the Jordan
Yeah.
ones on
Yeah.
the back. At the back of you know
his album.
I'm bad. Was it I'm bad? He's got the or is it I think he's got the Jordan ones.
Is that when he's standing up on it?
On the car.
Something like that, on the gate or something. Yeah, with his arm. Yeah.
No, for me
he had the Kangol.
Yeah, for me it was LL all day. And then I mean Slick Rick Slick Rick. I mean we used to for me it was like Right On magazine and Source and stuff. And,
Word
Up.
The Source wasn't out until later.
Word Up and things like that. And it was seeing the pictures. So seeing the pictures was like, oh, like what are they wearing, and you know, and then in the back, if you like, they used to have some companies do mail order. So you must have still cut out the mail order fee, you know, that you have to mail order.
Send off for it,
send off for a t-shirt. And sometimes it never used to come, you used to spend money on it.
And he's put a postal order in or something like that.
I mean, you know, fashion in hip hop, it's I mean, you definitely have your Run DMCs and stuff, but LL for me was fashion icon.
He was like the man for you.
Fashion
and how about you, Kish, man? You must have loads. I mean, there's too many. Eric B and Rakim.
No, not Eric B.
Rakim, just Rakim.
Rakim.
He's one of the original.
He's
No, I'm going to go on to Dapper Dan in a minute. Don't worry, we're going to go Dapper Dan in a minute.
Rakim, Eric B and Rakim, they're rocking Dapper Dan tracksuits, you know.
Yeah.
And they set the levels of like the elegance, but the power, the finesse, everything you associate Rakim with when it comes to his vocal style, he manifested it, you know, in his fashion style as well. I mean, the way that he flexed was ill. The ultimate trend. I mean, it was LL, but then Rakim took it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, his footwear choices were just elite. He's the first rapper to wear Air Force Ones. Right?
No. Air Max Ones. Air Force Ones.
Air Force Ones. Rakim's the first one to wear.
I thought it was Ice-T.
No.
He's really?
No, Ice-T ain't got Air Force Ones. He's got Jordan 4s.
Jordan 4s, okay. And he had the Jordan 3. Yeah, the Jordan 3.
Jordan 3s. And Eazy-E had the Jordan 3s as well. And he had the Jordan 3 tracksuit. No, Rakim's the first one to wear. You couldn't get Air Force Ones in the West Coast. You could only get them in the sort of in Philly, and you could get them in New York at Jew-Man and a few other spots. You know what I mean, like that. You had to be a basketball athlete to get them. Otherwise, you know what I mean?
It's a real. This is a real kind of history lesson. Listening to you both talking about this stuff.
You had to know where to go. I never found those spots when I was going to New York, and it was not surprising because the people who were showing me around didn't know either. Do you know what I mean, like that? But and Baltimore as well was the other place you get Air Force Ones. So trying to get hold of those in limited distribution was next to impossible. Rakim first one to have them. Lord Finesse was another one who had them on the back cover, Return of Funky Man cover. He's got the all white Air Force One highs. Rob Bass, DJ Easy Rock is rocking the low Air Force Ones on the back cover. I think MC Light, not her, but part of the First Priority family, one of the members has got a pair of Air Force Ones on as well. But yeah, you got to remember, Adidas was ruling the 80s, right? Then Reebok came into flavour. And it wasn't until after Nike with the whole Jordan thing really started popping, and we've got to give props to Spike Lee. You know, his marketing campaign,
crazy.
It's unparalleled. The levels that it set were ridiculous. The fact that the product featured in his movies, the first example of direct product placement. Right. And that comes from Spike Lee and Nike execs.
Do the right thing.
But prior to that, you know, and she's got to have it. He's got the baseball shirt. He's the guy who's doing the baseball shirt with the long shorts and with the shoes on the feet. So
Spy look crispy, man.
I've got a signed pair of Cement 4s for Spike Lee.
What? You met Spike Lee?
Yeah, I've got a signed pair.
You met Spike Lee?
Yeah, I've posted it on my Instagram, bro.
Dude, look, we post a lot of things on Instagram, so don't even come with that, right?
I've got a signed pair of...
We've got a lot of content, Franklin, all right?
Yeah, I met Spike Lee. I met Spike Lee. I need to refresh it, I've got a signed pair of Jordan 4s. It's funny because my friends, We Are Parable, they hosted one of his Q&As in central London.
Oh yeah, the ones they didn't invite me to, yeah. Cut that, but I'm telling you.
And so he came, and it's funny, he just came walking up the stairs by himself. My friend Anthony introduced us.
Yeah, Anthony, I see you.
Yeah, and then everyone. So at the end, he was releasing his book. That's when he was releasing his book. So Spike Lee came up the stairs by himself, and he said, "Oh, this is Franklin. He's a big sneaker fan." And it's funny because every single person came there with the book, or they bought the book. Wow. But then, but I didn't say nothing. So when he was signing the books, I pulled out my trainer, and he knew it. He signed it. He kind of like, I mean, I bought the book too, and then what happened? As soon as I put out my trainer, everyone was like, "Oh my god, why didn't we think of that?" Yeah. So So I got it all in a little case in my living room, like the signed. Probably There's not many signed Spike Lee 4s, so. Yeah.
Well, that's why Franklin, you're one of the ones that kind of stand out because you pull out them kind of techniques where you're thinking a little bit different from the rest and start pulling out a pair of trainers to get signed. Indeed. And I'll tell you what though, also that had a big impact, that fashion on us, obviously on UK MCs as well, and there were some incredible looking UK MCs. I mean, like Cookie Crew, She Rockers, MC Duke. MC Duke had his own like, gentleman kind of style going on.
MC Duke influenced Chris Eubank.
Yeah, well there you go.
And that's saying a lot.
Early doors, that kind of how would you describe that look? Like English gentleman.
English gentleman with street swag.
With the cane, the cane and all that.
Yeah, with street swag. Yeah.
But was there some like UK MCs that you love to look at? I mean, Demon Boys look wicked with the Coca-Cola. Do you remember them Coca-Cola rugby shirts? Yeah. And Benetton as well.
Yeah, Benetton was
How fly were they?
Yeah.
Look crispy.
They were mad crispy. I mean, we've got to give it up to. There's a lot of style icons from the UK at that time. I've got to give it up to Bullet and the No Limit Posse, No Limit Squad. Sorry, it was basically made up the Aylesbury Posse. Those guys, they set the levels. Hijack definitely set the levels. And it was the swagger, the attitude, of course, Demon Boys.
But I'll tell you another thing as well. We kind of had. We had that kind of like street look. So we'd be rocking the chippy. If you couldn't afford chippy, you wear C17s.
By the way, we've got to give props to London Posse as well.
No, big time. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We had that kind of our own kind of little flavour going on, like where we'd rock a pair of pinroll jeans with Burlington socks if you could afford them. It was kind of like a ragga hip hop look. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what it was. It was a clashing of. It was not a clashing. It was a medley of styles coming together in a beautiful harmony and being interpreted in a different way. You got to give up to the French labels because like Naf, but then Naf got played out pretty quick.
Best Company,
Ton, Best Company,
Chevignon,
C17, and Chippy. Right, they were levels, but then also the tennis wear was mad in play as well. Donne, LS, Sergio Tacchini, Lacoste. If you could get those Fila. So they were major things, and they were really hard to get as well. So, and some of them were money. Lacoste was money. So that's a big look in itself.
And a lot of the fake stuff was coming through the market.
I
think I had a t-shirt that had like a dolphin on it. I don't know if you remember them, but it had like a dolphin on it. I think it was meant to look like a Lacoste, but I think it was like I don't know what it was on it, but it had like about 20 teeth and like one leg or something. But that's
the market though. That's where I used to get my stuff first. Going to Aylesbury Market. That's where I had waffle trousers.
Oh, do you remember them? Yeah, I had the waffles. And the Farrahs.
And that was Farrahs. That was all off the mod culture. But we co-opted it into the hip hop look as well at the same time in a different way. And it was casual culture as well. Mod led to casual to that. So and two-tone as well. So it was an exciting, mad time in terms of styles.
Do you remember them trainers as well? They were called Pony.
Pony's
you remember them?
Yeah,
you had like the red one or the navy blue one with a white tip.
Yeah, Pony.
That was off the back of American football because Pony were one of the footwear brands that you'd see, the athletes in the Chicago Bears or New York Giants playing in and stuff like that. Yeah,
and then before that it was boxing. Because Muhammad Ali wore Pony. That's what people don't know. Muhammad Ali used to wear Pony.
Yeah, he wore Pony and Adidas, right?
So
actually, saying that was a bit of a look as well. Sometimes wearing the old boxing boots.
Pony was huge in boxing. Yeah. So they're back. They're trying to. Yeah.
But there were so many incredible brands, you know, we just spoke about, and your best company, Chevignon, you know, the chippy jeans and all that. But one of the standout brands as well, which blew me away when that come out, it was a brand. Well, I know Franklin's going to love to talk about this because he's rocking it right now. We're talking Averex.
I was going to say, you're a provocateur.
Averex, yeah.
Averex,
I mean, the Averex jackets were also one of them leading brands which were popping. You know, the quality back then with the buffalo leather, they was like heavyweight, and the quality, the detail. Can you and you're a real ambassador for Averex. You know, in the UK, you know, Franklin is like a lecturer of Averex. We spoke many times about this brand. Indeed, can you give me a little bit of a backstory of Averex, that flight jacket?
Yeah. So Jeff Clayman and his wife, who are still alive, they set up, like, it was a World War II replica jacket company, and in 1975 it's our 50th anniversary, and it was really just trying to do the World War II jackets, and I think, you know, don't quote me on this, but they wanted to get the contract for the American Air Force, but the American Air Force said no, or something like that in the beginning. But then they won the contract for Top Gun, and when they won the contract for Top Gun to do Tom Cruise jacket, the legendary Tom Cruise flight jacket, after the film, it just blew up. It blew up from there. And then the Air Force said, "Oh yeah, come and do some work with us, etc." And then after that, the biggest clientele outside of the Air Force and Army were the college kids. They like the flight jackets and stuff. Cool. So they thought, you know what, why don't we go into colleges and make the varsities? So then they started to do a lot of the varsities for the colleges. The biggest clientele outside of the colleges were the streets and the rappers, because they wanted to feel like they were part of the varsity, the league, and the ballers. That's where the term ballers come from. They want to be part of the ballers, etc. And then so in the 90s, and Averex was possibly the biggest leather jacket company in the world. People don't know that. Yeah, on the east coast of America in the 90s, they're doing $250 million in sales. Yeah.
And the detailing in the jacket, I'm not on about just the outside and the quality of the jacket was another level, but I'm on about the attention to the detail was on another level. Even the inside of the jacket, you know, the bit of plastic on the back with
the story
of it. You know, it's a real iconic. You know, Averex is a real iconic brand.
Way ahead of their time. I mean,
the detail's ridiculous.
Yeah, now I feel people like brands want to have stories and stuff, but they were doing stories like even people don't know, but on some of their early jackets, like, because they copied the World War II jacket so well, it's like people don't know. Okay, so this is a history lesson. So the old school World War II jackets, right, had inscriptions on the back. You know, we had Chinese writing. Yeah, the Chinese writing was a message to, if you're found by say a civilian in Chinese, or
it's a set of instructions, isn't it?
Yes, it's a set of instructions to say I'm an American citizen, do not kill me, type of thing. It was crazy. And then when Averex came, they kind of copied that. So it's like some people are looking at Averex jackets thinking Averex jackets go back into World War II, but they actually don't. They're that good. And that's kind of, it blows my mind when I see some of the original ones they've done in the 70s and the early 80s. People are like, oh yeah, because people come into the store, like we have the store in Box Shoreditch. People come in the store and say, oh, I've got a jacket and I've got it from like the 50s. And in my head I'm like, it wasn't around back then, but it's that good. They think it's an original World War II jacket. Yeah.
Have you got any rare Averex jackets?
Yeah, I have actually. I'm wearing one, which is
one of the rare ones.
Averex Paris jacket. It's only one of.
What a nice plug!
One of 8 in the world of this
one.
What
colour? I'm colourblind. Is that navy or is that black?
Yeah, so I call it a midnight black. You know, midnight is a bit navy, bit blue, bit black. So I think I call this a midnight black.
That is popping.
Yeah.
Can you get the thing off now? Right.
Okay, let me.
Kish, hold the mic.
Let's take this off. So this is one of our Paris jackets. We launched this one. Was it about a year and a bit ago? So it's got
you got the Averex.
Yeah. So
Paris.
Normally it has USA, but it's got Paris at the back. So we.
I'm still waiting for mine.
I have to ask them for one. So this is very, very, very limited. Only 8 in the world of this.
And another bit of the detail as well is the A on the back, like the top by the collar.
Yes,
the little A.
Yeah, and then that's when the fakes came in, and it would be blurred. Like, so you need to know your history about
What does it pop out? It pops a bit more.
Yeah, the face came in. It's kind of. It was like you couldn't really. It wasn't. You know. It wasn't kind of. Yeah, it wasn't stitched well and stuff. And then, you know, but Averex is yes, amazing company. And then
it's a quality brand. And what kind of colours can you? I mean, I've seen many colours: pinks and yellows and reds and greens.
They have so many colours. I mean, we have loads of colours, but you know what it is. In the 90s, we had so many. There were so many variations of the actual jackets. And what I'm telling people, because now people say, oh, why don't you do this style and that style and this style? And I keep on telling people it's not that easy. Like a minimum order is like 300 jackets per style or something. You know what I mean? So it kind of you have to get back there. You know, with everything we grow and stuff. You know what people may not know is Averex. It got sold like so in the 90s. For example, I mean, I bought my first jacket 28 years ago, yeah, and in London, a lot of people getting stabbed for their jackets, unfortunately, you know, because it's so expensive. Yeah. I mean, I'm spending £500 at 16, 17. It's
big money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money in the 90s.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money now. Don't get me wrong, but people used to get stabbed in the UK, but in the US, people used to get shot and killed for their jackets. So Jeff Clement and his wife, the original Averex store was called Cockpit. It was in Manhattan in New York, and what they did is they separated the company. So Cockpit would create the World War II jackets, and then they sold Averex USA, and they sold Averex USA to Mark Echo. Echo Clothing. Yeah, they sold it to Mark Echo. At the time, Echo was a $1 billion company, huge company, and he bought Averex, he bought Ed Hardy, and he done an Ed Hardy Averex collab back in the day as well. But it didn't. But that's when, you know, towards like the kind of mid, like the 2010s, that's when fashion started changing from the oversized back into straight, etc. Because in the 90s it's crazy because we went
baggy,
from so we went from in the 80s and 90s we went from baggy, then we went designer went, you know, designer, and it was straight. I mean, terrorist culture was straight legged, and then it went baggy again, and then towards the mid kind of 2000s and stuff, it started going back to straight. So they, you know, they sold off the assets, and then Averex got kind of the license got kind of sold to Mark Echo. Mark Echo then sold his assets as things were going down, and he invested in Complex magazine and helped launch that as well. And then, you know, but then what happened is, I have to shout out Mia, who was the creative director back in the 90s, and she worked for a company, and she said, look, I want to bring it back, and they helped relaunch it around 2018 and stuff. So but
prior to that, I've got to give a shout out to Karim at MASH and his brother, because above MASH on Oxford Street, they had the Averex store. Yeah, because MASH was the first store to bring Averex into the country.
No, sorry.
Into London?
No. Knick Knack was the first.
Oh yeah, Knick Knack. Yeah. So, sorry, Knick Knack was just by Tottenham Court Road. That's right. And MASH was further down.
Yeah.
Then MASH got it. Yeah. And then they opened up the craziest store ever, right? Because they had a World War II plane, right?
No, come on.
In the Averex store above. And it was the hottest store at the time.
It was crazy, and it's funny because there was a war between Knick Knack and MASH at one stage, because I remember.
And Knick Knack, we've got to give props because they were the first ones to bring Timberland to the So then Knick Knack is funny because Knick Knack had ordered the brands, and then with Knick Knack, from what I heard, who was the owner of Knick Knack again? I can't remember who the owner was.
So what I heard because I used to sell a lot of Averex back in the day. So when I went there, he said, I've got an official license to sell this, and they were importing it from the States, so they were going to the States getting it over. So what I used to do is go over there. So I was getting Averex jackets, I was getting Averex jackets for literally half price and bringing it back to Tottenham and selling it for like, you know, a little bit over and stuff. Yeah, so this is back in the 90s I was doing that, and going to States as well. So
such a quality brand. And can you quickly tell me where your pop-up shop is? At the moment we're in 2025 July.
Okay, so currently our pop-up is in Boxbox Shoreditch, units 22, 23, and come down, give you some good deals, and we've got a good range there.
So anyone watching, make sure you check Franklin King Trainers, get down to the pop-up shop, because these jackets are absolutely popping.
100.
Just trying to think what else you can talk about, because I've got to bring in Dapper Dan. Do you know what I mean? That's without a shadow of a doubt. I'll tell you what then. Let's move.
Or we could just do a part 2.
Well, we could do a part 2.
Why don't we do a part 2? We haven't even talked about the bloody trainers yet, really. And all this stuff. We got so much to get.
We got a lot to talk about, innit?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I want to talk about what hip hop culture means to you both.
Yeah, and exactly what it represents now.
You know, I want to talk. I'll tell you what. Let's leave it on this one, right?
Okay.
Kish, quickly tell me. You got the All City Show, which is a wicked name, by the way. Very similar to mine. Mine's called All City Taxi Talk. Yeah. Yours is All City Show.
Yes.
Mine's coming from that cab driving thing with the All City around the city in the cab. Well, yours is coming from a hip hop perspective.
Yeah,
Tell me about the All City Show.
Okay, so yeah, basically the All City show stems from the original show that was set up by Dan Greenpeace, Zane Lowe and DJ Touche back in, I think, around 2001, 2002 on XFM. And All City refers to how it used to be in graffiti terms, going All City, and the show was All City London because it was everywhere in London. You could listen to it. So that's what it stems from. So yeah, and then I came into the mix. Zane left and DJ Touche left the show. Zane when he went to Radio 1. And then Touche got really busy with his production work, so he left. So Dan did it on his own at XFM, and then he brought me in. I was on HFM at the time. Shout outs to the HFM crew.
Yeah, big up to all them.
Yeah. So then I came on board, and then it was Dan and I presenting the show on XFM, going up head to head against Westwood, but we were on a different flex, which was really cool. Then the station got bought out by the Capital Group, and then they bought Choice FM, and then things started meandering, should we just say, and then we got dropped because they thought they were catering to the hip-hop audience, even though the way we were looking at it and our lens was completely different to what you found on Choice with like Phoebe One, Respect Due, and all the other shows, 279 and all that, Respect Due on the station. So then what happened was Soho Radio was starting. It's now 11 years old, so we're talking probably about 11 and a half to 12 years old. It's like I was saying to Dan, we've got to bring the show back. He's like, I don't know how we're going to do it. Then word is that Soho Radio is happening and they want us to bring the show back on that platform, and we are there right now. Dan moved to Dubai to set up an events company with his business partner. I'm out there, so now I'm Susie Swan came into the mix to co-present it with me, but then she got too busy to do it, so then I've been helming it ever since on my jacks, right now on Soho Radio. So
and I must
every 4
admit,
weeks.
It's an absolute wicked show. And the last show I listened to was part 2 of the Arthur Baker interview, which was incredible, Kish. And I must say, your attention to detail, the questions you ask, are second to none. You're a great host. You really know your details. You know your onions. You know your knowledge. And it's quite impressive, actually, with both of you, sitting here and listening to the both of you talking about the history and the timeline of this stuff is mind-blowing, to be honest.
Oh, thank you so
I've never
much.
spoken
Same with you, man. Your attention to details is phenomenal as well.
Yeah, but it's nothing like you. Seriously,
nothing
like
I love
yours.
that, the British humble nature coming into play.
You really do live and breathe this thing. And how can people get in touch with both of you? Like King of Trainers, obviously Instagram.
Yeah, so I guess Instagram at King of Trainers, or at Franklin Boateng. Yeah, I'm an easygoing guy. People always assume because
it's well stush. He might talk to you. You come up to a man in the street, he's gonna go, "Yo, boy, get away, boy."
Yeah, because I speak to everyone.
He's a man of the people.
Indeed.
Yes. And very quickly, how do you know each other?
Well, I think through the scene, Kish doesn't remember the first time I met him. I met him in the club with this was years ago. This was with God.
He doesn't even remember now after
what club was it? Oh God. With Rosie Gabor.
With Roses?
Yeah, Rosie's Gabor. This was
I love Roses.
This was like probably 20. This is 08, 09. It was a while. It was a while.
Wow.
It was or even before then.
I think
it was before then.
Yeah.
It was a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And Kish, how can people get in touch with you? Kish Kash?
I can't get in touch with me, no. Instagram is cool. I've got an email button as well on my Instagram bio, so people can hit me up on that. But yeah, or if I'm just out on the street, just have a word, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, incredible. So make sure anyone watching this, you're leaving some feedback and you're following these guys. I mean, not that you need a following, it's ridiculous, like the kind of following you've got. Well, it's not ridiculous, it's amazing. Like the way you've built this, this I mean, and rightly so, because as I said, your detail, your knowledge, and your personalities shine through. You know, you're absolute diamond geezers. You know, and that really.
God, we pay him well, don't we?
Yeah, slip a bit of money through
Yeah, postal order. Okay?
But I'll tell you what, let's go out the old school way. I mean, the first thing I want to do is give a massive shout out to all the DJs, all the underground radio stations that are doing this for nothing, pushing out all them beats out there to the masses that ain't getting paid to do this. A big respect to all of you, all the podcasters, Blade, Killer Killer, Arms House, Your Mum's House, Nova Flip, you know, all these podcasters documenting history as well. Big shout out to all them. And is there anyone you want to give a little shout out to?
Oh,
I mean, there must be.
I want to shout out all the new brands that are coming through, all the independent brands, all the independent stores, record stores, you know, style boutiques, all the stylists out there, all the people that are just making this happen, but also to the people who are still living this culture. You know, without you guys locked in, it's like we'll be chatting to nothing. Indeed. So you guys are the most important. It's the culture that is the foundation of everything, and it's what we aspire to help. You know, that's what we aspire to do.
I want to shout everyone who keeps it authentic. That's it.
Keeping it real.
Keeping it 100.
Well, listen, all I can say is it's an absolute honour to have you both in this cab. I'm pretty blown away by this little cab chat interview, or whatever you want to call it. It's been amazing chatting to you both.
Yo, thank you for having us on.
You've really blown me away.
What you're doing,
and
you got
to
to big
honest,
yourself up, mate.
You know, listen, I'm not finished with you yet, but we get for this moment in time. That's a wicked part one, and we'll go into details and some other stuff on the part two. Your rarest trainers, and you know, there's still a lot to talk about.
There's a lot.
There's a lot to talk about.
Star Wars, the next one's Empire Strikes Back. You know what I mean? And we know that's better.
Star Wars and Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
But listen, an absolute honour. I hope you both enjoyed it. And listen, a big clap to you both. Well done.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. And Kish, let's get you back to the crypt, because I know you've got to shoot off.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Brilliant.